All right. So just so you know, we are live streaming now. They can't see you, but they could hear you. Otherwise, I couldn't talk to you. That looks better, Sydney.
Okay, good. Now let me see if I can get my...
It shows a good, strong signal. So just so you know, we are live streaming right now with the countdown.
Okay.
They can't see you, but they can hear you.
Can you hear me yet or no?
Yes.
I can't hear anything in my... I'm trying to hook up my AirPods and it's not working. There we go.
Well, I'm good on this end.
Well, I don't understand why it's not coming through my AirPods.
I don't know. I don't have AirPods, so I can't help you.
Let's see, video, audio.
But you're in your office. If you just wanted to use the stuff on your computer, it would work out okay.
Okay, let me... No. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I got my AirPods working. Gosh, how funny. Like normally this all just works. I don't know why I had to reconnect it. So we had a power blip this morning and it just kind of threw everything into a loop. But I do need you to send me that Wi-Fi thing again, if you don't mind.
Okay, I will.
Do you feel like it has worked good?
Oh yeah, things are still pretty good around here.
Okay. When your Wi-Fi's on.
Yes. When the internet is
when you have service, it's great. Too funny. I'm gonna text Kyle and remind him.
Oh, he's on.
Oh, he is? I can't see anybody else.
Yeah, no, I know you can't see anybody right now until the countdown's good. But Kyle's here; he's
gotcha.
good to go.
Okay, cool.
But it's just so far, it's just the three of us. Oh, here comes Dave. There's Keith.
Hey.
Good morning.
I'm in my office today. I have a very garage, so I decided to use.
Yeah. Oh, you just went away again, Sydney.
So we're recording this, right, Chris?
Yeah, it records. It sure does. They can't see you yet until the countdown goes away, but they can hear you right now.
Well, that's good. I sound better than I look. Somebody's operating a forklift.
Yeah, it must be outside Dave's office.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear, Dave. You hear us okay?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to get you up on my headphones, but that's all right. Yeah, my seem to have a problem with a battery backup in my office. I think it. Did you hear that beeping?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small nuclear lock leak. I got to lock. Take me a minute to lock it down.
That's a good Star Wars reference.
Just set that there and don't scream it.
Hey, Rennie.
Hey, what's going on?
No, not much. Sydney's having internet problems this morning, so now it's her turn. But good morning, everybody out there in Facebook and YouTube world. We are live with you this morning for a Legendary Bead Maker and Coffee session. It's a live Q&A. We have got a pretty good cast of characters going here. We got Kyle Clark, Dave Phillips, Keith Duplessis, Rennie Boyle, and Sydney will be back as soon as she figures out her technical issues. She was here, disappeared. She'll be back, though, I'm sure. So we've got a good crowd of people joining us this morning, and we are good to go. We can start off with whatever you guys have on your mind this morning.
Hey, Chris, there's a bunch of muffling sounds. I don't know where it's coming from, but it sounds like somebody's moving a mic.
Yeah, I heard that too. We'll see if it continues. Let me see here.
Chris, yeah, I can only hear you clearly. It says it wants me to switch to Google Chrome, so I might disappear for a little while.
Okay, you'll come right back. Yeah, I think it might have been. It might be Dave. Kyle's also in his van, so I don't know if there's any weird sounds there.
Cool.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Kyle, can you hear us?
Yes.
So
check it out. Look what I'm doing today.
Oh, there you go. Heck yeah.
Airplanes. Is it the same one still?
I'm finishing this one, and we're about to start the next one this afternoon.
Cool.
Tell him the answer is, Chris, it's a big plane. Yes, it's the same one.
And I don't, yeah, it's the same one.
Yeah. So what? Tell everybody what kind of plane you're
It's
working on.
almost sad
Kyle.
to say that. Like, come on. I'm working on a Boeing 767 right now. Just finishing a dry wash that we started last week. With using Epic waterless wash and EnviroClean. Work really good on this plane.
Cool. Very cool.
It'd be fun to coat it with Legend though, but I don't think they'd pay for that.
That's going to take a lot of legend, you know, an awful lot. So, you know, it actually, that could bring us
Fire
to
up the filling stations.
That could bring us to the first question that just popped up. Bill Quinn asked about availability. What's availability look like on Legend right now? And if you're running low, when do you expect more?
Well, since I don't see there, Dave, we look like we should have. We sent out the first 300 units and went quick. Our next batch should be bottled, packaged, looking just like this, ready to roll by the end of the week. So we should have plenty of availability. So if you're a distributor, get your order in now for any that if you haven't already ordered, because it'll go. It's been going fast, which is really a awesome thing and a blessing.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm juggling trying to get Sydney set up. Sydney, I see you.
Well, good morning. The Hans closing. The best smelling person just popped in. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't know how to respond.
You got people sniffing people again?
Don't do that.
Just drinking coffee and holding Legend.
There you go.
These are a rare commodity right now in my neck of the woods, man. Everybody wants one of these things. So this one's going to Chris Lee up in McMinnville. I run out there today. Got to return his steamer from our class this last weekend. So that was cool. So let's see. We got more questions, Chris?
Yeah, I got questions coming in.
Yeah, there's one that just popped up. What's the difference between inspiration coating and Legend?
Yeah, so that's a good place to start.
I'm gonna start with this. Is the experience of installing it is just night and day. I'll let Dave get into the solid count, carriers, all that stuff. But just the simple fact of the way that this product installs and lays down on paint, and the fact that it's so friendly, a mobile detailer with good cover, meaning he or she can work in a garage or a nice shady spot that there's no wind and stuff. You can put. This is a hardcore coating. This isn't a wimpy coating, and not that our classic inspiration was, but this is just a modern day. It's the C8 Corvette versus the C7. It's just that much better.
So as far as the difference, the actual the main ingredients are the same. They're higher solids. It's a more viscous coating, so you end up with a thicker result on the surface. And then you can see by the way you use it, as far as the evaporation and that sort of stuff, is we're not relying on evaporation of solvents to attach the coating to the car. We're allowing them to kind of migrate to the surface a little bit more, and so you just get a better kind of application. I don't know if I want to call it attachment, but you get a better application. It's kind of like the difference between a lacquer paint and like a urethane. Is the lacquer depends on the solvent evaporating for the solids to go up, and in this case, you're getting more of a chemical process of attaching the coating to the paint. Even though there's not like a chemical attachment, a binding sort of thing, it's still a process of moving towards the paint and applying that way and forming a film.
Yeah, you can feel the difference when you're installing it. I don't want to say I haven't used a coating like it, but it's pretty unique, and it's why we went with the chemistries. We knew Dave nailed it. We liked the chemistry of Classic. We just wanted something that was a lot more hardcore, and then also times have changed, so the ease of application is we've been able to design it where it's just it's a wonderful. The entire process is. Sorry, we got an active shop today. We got training going on, so there's all kinds of stuff moving around. But it's just the whole experience until you put it on is just it's unreal. It's great.
So there was a question in there also about durability. So we look at Inspiration, which has a 3-year warranty period on it, which is the Inspiration Classic. Legend, we're going to have a 5-year wear period on it, or 5-year durability rating on it. It's also eligible for that same 3-year warranty. So that's kind of the difference in what we're rating the durability period for, guys. Do we think it'll probably last longer? Yeah, we do. But again, driving conditions, there's so many variables. We're really confident in a 5-year wear life on this product.
Nice.
I was going to say that Inspiration wasn't a difficult coating at all, but Legend, Rennie kind of hit it right on the head, is when you're applying it with that applicator, it just flows on and it's more enjoyable. It's not, I wouldn't say it's easier, but it is a very similar degree of difficulty. It just really goes on nicely. And it's very hydrophobic. I would say, compared to Inspiration that I have on other cars, standalone, it's more hydrophobic.
Big question that you knew was coming is
Sydney, can you hear us? Can we hear you?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, she's back.
You're there now.
How does
I had to switch to my phone. Sorry.
Hey guys, how does Legend compare to a coating with graphene?
Boy.
Should we let Dave answer that, or should we?
No, let's let Dave jump.
Rennie, I
Say
thought you
that,
did a
Dave?
really good job yesterday when you were talking about it, right? It's, you know, I mean, we've definitely gone for, I mean, there are different ways to formulate a coating. In the case of graphene, you know, you're depending on the graphene particles to add structure to the coating. And in this case, we stuck with a more traditional methodology to create structure in the coating. And so we're using the same active ingredients basically in the same, but we're just getting more of them in the process.
A lot more. And, you know, graphene, I mean, I'm not going to down graphene. It's very popular right now. We just decided to not follow the trend. We think that the ease of application of this product, the amount of solids in it, is that we deliver the same or more benefits that you would have with the graphene. Yet you're going to take, and it's the ease of application in hot weather. This opens up an entire new opportunity for mobile detailers that were really struggling with putting a seriously advanced coating on, because it allows a mobile detailer to jump into that advanced coating and feel secure with it, and yet not struggle at putting it on. If you're in Hawaii or in the Northeast or the Southeast where it's really hot and humid, this product is a lot easier to deal with than traditional coatings, and you're just not going to struggle. And so, you know, that's probably the main reason why, is that it's not that we don't believe in graphene, but I think that graphene's a really cool buzzword right now, and Dave's done a great job of educating kind of the realities of how much graphene it would really take to make an impact. And we just decided we didn't want to go there, that we thought there's a better way to deliver a product that would have a better result for the end user and the installer both.
Yeah, I think, you know, as far as how it compares, I think on a, you know, a physical level, is that I have not run into a graphene coating that I thought did a better job. So it compares very well with graphene. I would like to say, I noticed Prentice has joined us too, but I just read an article from him this morning that I think is you guys should keep your eyes open for it. It is really clear. It is really well written. And I think it's going to add a lot of clarity to basically the line of coatings, our line of coatings, and coatings in general.
Cool. Good job.
Yeah, I was fortunate to read that too, and that was a great one. I think, Chris, the next question up here about what's the curing time. Sydney, you probably used it more than anybody else. So what's our answer on curing time?
I mean, it's kind of similar to inspiration, is that the full cure time is, you know, I think that curing as far as ready, when is the vehicle ready to go? You know, that's probably several hours after, and I would always do the bead maker prior. And then you're going to have about a 3 to 4 day pretty good cure time up to a week. So like inspiration, we still recommend not washing for the first week. And especially in that first 3 to 4 days, be really careful about getting environmental fallout issues, leaves, snow melt, things like that. I always really try to advise my customers, try to keep that stuff off the coating for the first few days. But as far as that time from when you're done coating and when the vehicle's ready to go, you know, it's a good couple hours. You want to give that 2 hour kind of initial cure. And then if you top it with bead maker, that's kind of protecting that coating during its curing phase.
Yeah, we like to tell people it's ready to drive 3 hours. It's 2 hours afterwards. You apply bead maker, let bead maker set up. If it's going to go into a wet environment after that, try to keep it overnight. If it's going into a dry environment, you know, prefer to garage. You know, it's coating, and I think this is across the board. And you want to have a really cool experience with that coating. And so making sure that the owner is ready to receive that coating is really important.
Hey, real quick, you guys mentioned.
Sydney, how long are you waiting between coats if you wanted to top Legend with Legend, or if you wanted to top Legend with or with Soul? Can you hear me?
Nope, I don't think she heard you. So
No, I was letting the applicators answer that.
She actually said that she couldn't hear your Rennie either, so I don't know.
I think she said 60 minutes.
Yeah, I'm waiting 45 minutes to an hour. I'll put the first coat on, and then 45 minutes to an hour later, I'm putting the second coat on, or putting Soul on, and then 2 hours later, bead maker.
And that's actually pretty much across the board with our 2-layer coating program. So that would be both Inspiration and Legend that we would recommend, that 45 minutes to an hour between layers, and then a 2-hour, right, Rennie, between any coating application and bead maker.
Absolutely.
Which, by the way, it is bead maker and coffee, so we got to bring up the bead maker.
I love it.
And I'll just speak for Sydney because she said, if you're having dust issues, maybe with a show car or something, then after you put your bead maker on, wait a couple hours, then use oh, help me.
Paint gloss.
Paint gloss. My brain just went blank. Must be the vaccination. Paint gloss, which gives it that anti-static.
Yeah, it's a cool little trick.
Hey, Chris, Sydney says she can't hear some of us and she can't respond on that phone, just so you know.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because she's using her other phone or she's communicating differently. I don't know how she's talking to me, but she can't hear us.
Gotcha. Yeah, she just disappeared.
Hey, there was a question that I wanted to talk about real quick. Can anyone buy Inspiration? Do you have to have any training to purchase it? And that's from looks like Frank. And that's the cool thing about Legend, is it's a premium coating, but you don't have to have an accreditation to buy it and install it.
Yeah, it's like anything, is that you want to know what you're doing, and the paint correction's the biggie, and so we're going to be announcing a series of classes coming up here shortly, really across the country, and we're going to give you the opportunity to become listed on our website, and it's a really cool opportunity because the price is right. You're going to work through your distribution partners, and there's going to be a price to buy the kit. That gets you your first kit, and then we're going to go in and certify you that you know your stuff. Now, this training is not going to be a training. It's going to be an opportunity for you to prove to us you know what you're doing. And so you're going to bring your own polisher. We're going to give you an assignment for some paint correction. You're going to explain to us what you're going to do, and then we're going to watch you in action. And for those that know what they're doing, is that we're going to put you up as a certified installer. You'll be able to sell the warranty program. It's really exciting. So we're going to see this network of professionals grow rapidly, and we want as many qualified and quality-based detailers. And here's the thing again, you mobile guys, is we're not going to cut you out. Is that you're going to be allowed to jump in here and use a very advanced coating and be a part of the game instead of being rejected.
Yep. So with that, any distributor of our product line is authorized to qualify somebody as an installer. So if you're already putting coatings on, you're already doing the Inspiration program, you can be an authorized installer. But that doesn't mean that you can't just purchase the product as Joe Consumer or any level of detailer and use the product and apply it. That's never been a thing for P&S, that we've limited people from buying the product line. We like you to be qualified to install it so you have a good experience, the customer has a good experience. And if you want to be an authorized installer and be able to use the warranty program, that's where we got to make sure you're just qualified. But there's normally no charge for that process other than product expenses. So really an easy coating to get into and use. I see there's lots of fast questions here. So let's see if we can do a little speed round and go with that, Chris.
Yeah. So going back to, you mentioned an article that Prentice wrote. Where are they going to be able to find that article later?
Larry, you're still good with Legend. You can buy Legend. You're already an Inspiration warranty installer. You can still offer the warranty and do that with Legend.
So we're going to put Prentice's article up on, it's going to Detailed Image, and it's going to be put up on the Inspiration blog once that gets set up, and you'll be able to find it on the P&S blog on our website here within the month.
You can put it on P&S University too, maybe?
I am going to put it on P&S University. I'm glad you asked.
Hey, Prentice, if you'll send it over to us, we'll put it on our blog also.
Okay. Hey, Dave and Keith, you're all good? There's no changes? It's all good?
Yeah, it looks good. I guess I don't know whether it was written with just distributors in mind. There may be I don't know if you need to modify it at all that way, but it was great. I really liked the article.
Yeah, I think anybody can read it. It's a little long, sorry, but there's a lot to cover with
There's
this.
a lot to cover, and I think you did a good job.
If you get that over, if you guys go over to Detailing Success, Prentice, if you get that over to us, it will be up in the next couple days.
Okay.
So a couple questions on this, on being able to install it with the warranty. Yes, you would need to be qualified. So that's either gone through a ready training or be authorized by your distributor, certified by your distributor. If you're already qualified for Inspiration, qualified for Legend. Although, as we've said, markedly different experience when you install them. So, and I think, Sydney and I, we saw that with our class this weekend. We had the double black training weekend on Saturday. I think everybody who had an experience using those coatings saw that they're both great coatings. They both apply really pretty well, but they're just markedly different in the experience.
So, Keith, I just want to clarify because I don't quite understand it. Maybe there's other people who don't. Does the warranty program apply both to Legend and Inspiration Classic?
Yes, they both can qualify for the warranty.
Okay.
As long as there's 2 layers of the coating down, and it's only on the paint.
And that's a 3-year warranty. Even though we're projecting Legend can last longer, the actual insurance-backed warranty is a 3-year warranty. So that's what you're able to sell.
Are there any plans to have a 5-year warranty program as well, or is that where's that?
I've talked to my team at a warranty team, and that's a possibility. The question is, what that raises for complication with the program. So right now we're keeping it simple and clean, which is one warranty to rule them all, if you will, for those 2 products. But suffice to say, Legend's going to go. We really believe it's going to be a 5-year plus potentially coating. So there's conversations about that, but let's put some Legend on some cars first, and we'll go from there.
Could somebody potentially, after 3 years, offer the customer to buy another 3-year warranty, assuming they put another 2 coats on?
Yes, as long as the vehicle continues to qualify. Yeah.
So let's talk about longevity for a second. I wish that we could go back in a time machine and remove the entire judging a coating by length of time, because it's really toughness. This coating, Inspiration was an incredibly durable coating. This coating just goes to a whole new level. The depth, the quality of the shine is just intensified. But here's the deal: is you guys got to be really careful in listing out and stating lengths of time that coatings are supposed to last, because really we don't know that. It's taken out of our hands. If you've got, my cars that are baby, it's probably going to last 10 years. But if you get somebody that's trashed, you could put the best coating on in the world called Clear Coat out of the factory, and it's trashed in 10 washes. And so you've got to be really careful about taking in and selling something that is length of time when you don't know their habits. And so be really careful about doing that. And again, I wish as an industry we could come back and change that. Hi, Bob Phillips.
Good morning, Mr. Doyle.
So we're really excited about it. The reason why is that a lot of us have tested a lot of products, and I'm telling you is that, I am biased. I am biased. We're pretty proud of the product. But honestly, if you've come through our training, we trade on a lot of different coatings, and we've got almost all of them here, and we're friends with a lot of them. I just happen to think that we just hit a home run because of simply the quality of the shine, the depth of the shine, and then the absolute experience of applying this coating is just you're not a stress ball. It goes on big thing. We coated an F-250 here 3 weeks ago, and I did the entire hood in one chunk. I did the entire front panel in one, the front door, the rear crew cab door in one. I took the bed, each side of the bed, I divided it in 2. And so I did half of the bed on one side and then the other half, and then went and did the whole tailgate. And so you're taking and using it, and it's just an absolute pleasure. It doesn't smell funky. Dave just hit it out of the home. Our team hit it out of the home run, but Dave is You know, he's our mad scientist, and we owe him a lot because I'll tell you, here's what I'm proudest about, is that you guys that have been shunned a lot by putting advanced coating on, basically the entire mobile market, is this is a product that you're going to fall in love with. And you guys that have shops, you're going to lose it, man. Is I know Bob always embarrassed him, but last night, Bob, did you hear my comment of what it is?
I missed that, Randy.
I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it. You guys ready? For boy detailers, it's whitey tighty droppers. And for girls, is the thongs hitting the ground. Simple as that. Your first application. So it's that fun.
You know, we got to grassroots level there.
Yep.
Follow on with what Lenny said.
One of the things 14-year-old to come out. So we do well today.
To follow on with what Rennie said, you know, just on the salesmanship part of it. Oh, Bob.
No, Bob. Keep going, Prentice. I want to respond to a question here.
Okay. Just in my trainings, I always stress salesmanship. You've got to sell what you're doing correctly. You've got to get with the customer, make sure the customer's expectations match what you can deliver and also what the car is able to accept. So, and you know, one of the things that we stress with any of our coatings is if you want to increase the longevity, get on an annual program, at least an annual program with that customer, come back and clay it, bead maker it, and those coatings will last way longer. So that allows you to create an annual customer too out of your initial coating package. So very important on the salesmanship. Mr. Phillips.
So I wanted to respond to Pulse Automotive Care. It says, how does it compare to new ceramic coatings on the market, such as graphene? What's the difference between Legend and Sol? Not so much to address the graphene. I mean, graphene is kind of a trendy product right now, and it's a great backbone for coatings. But obviously, we're using the same backbone for all our coatings. They all have the same active ingredient. But I responded to a guy on YouTube this morning, and I thought it was very relevant. Is, you know, I know detailers are searching for that one coating, but the analogy is when you're doing paint correction, do you have one buffing pad? Do you got one compound? No. You got to have a selection in your toolbox. One of the things that PNS is focused on is 3 levels of coating: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 being Sol, level 2 being Classic, level 3 being Legend. And obviously, you know, the industry forces us to go, if level one must be your shorter lived coating, and level 3 must be your longer lasting coating. That is in fact true. But the reality of it is really what PNS focused on in developing these 3 levels of coating is allow coders to have enough tools in their toolbox so they can address all the concerns of their customer. If they got a customer that's kind of an entry-level customer and doesn't want, you know, the serious coating, well, then Sol could be your tool, right? If he's more of a traditional guy, then Classic could be your tool. If he's you know, more of a higher end guy and he's looking for a different look, then Legend could be your tool. But then Sol could be your secret weapon on all of them, right? It's like, you know, you can do Classic and Legend and top with Sol. So realistically, one of the things I think detailers should look for is, you know, just like when you're doing paint correction, you got to have multiple pads. When you're a coating expert, you got to have multiple coatings to adapt to the job and the environment that you're in and to provide a product that supports the customer what they want. So realistically, that's the real answer, is why do we have 3 coatings? We have 3 coatings because not every customer is the same and not every environment's the same. So all 3 of these coatings, although they have the same backbone, they do have different delivery systems that allow flexibility in the environments that you're in. So I don't know if that's what detailers want to hear, but that's certainly where PNS is going with its coatings and inspiration.
So while we're on that, let's dive right into this. We've had the question about 3 times now. Sheeting versus beading. Obviously, most of our products are built on the beading model. Dave, why don't you take that one? So obviously, we built these out of the same base material, and we're primarily going to get a beading effect. Although there's a lot of sheeting when you've got a volume of water on the vehicle with Legend. But can you take that one, Dave?
Right. Yeah. So it is a little bit unfortunate in that the industry kind of likes, I mean, the industry for coatings and for spray, you know, coatings is for beading. They all want, I mean, I have products that do really amazing sheeting. Unfortunately, they end up being judged as not being there. So we kind of need to keep a little bit of the beading properties. So we don't really have anything designed just to sheet at this point. I have like a car wash spray product that sheets. But in general, what Keith was saying is true. If you use a larger volume of water, basically the whole thing just sheets off anyway, because the water just coagulates together. If you mist over the top, you end up getting a lot of beading. And that would be true even of a sheeting product too. If you don't do it quite right, you're going to get some beading anyway. But so at this point, we're pretty much sticking with the beading. And we don't really have a product that was designed just to be a sheeting product.
Let me address this real quick. You got to remember that about 97% of the market for you detailers wants beading. Is that a very, very small percentage of the marketplace is savvy enough to where they want sheeting. Now, sheeting, great. You know, there's some benefits to it, but like you said, a car, this is where the water on the car videos get me. Because if you take a vehicle that has nothing on it, that's completely stripped, it's going to sheet water. And if you take a car that's coated, it's going to sheet water. So you got to look at, if you're a pro consumer, it's what you want on your car. What's your preference? Do you want something that the water is just non-existent? Or do you want it to where it's very little's there, but what's there is beading? As a consumer, I can tell you is that most consumers, if it's not beading, as Dave just said, it's not on there. And so there is an education process that you could talk about sheeting and beading and all that good stuff. But it's a battle that I've been fighting personally and professionally for 23 years. And I've gained maybe very, very little ground on talking about the sheeting. And we've got a long ways to go before we win that war, if we ever do. Beading's king still. And it might not be with detailers, but when it comes to people that are buying your services, beading's king.
Yeah, I think just to echo what Rennie said is that, the professional can appreciate sheeting. And certainly well appreciated in the car wash market, where you end up with people that want no water left on the car. But yeah, the consumer tends to relate to beading.
Yep. So real quick, because this is a throwback Tuesday comment. Charlie Gay loved the comment that, as your dad says, high tone glaze for life. Love that product. But how do you convince him that it's not snake oil? Take a hood, take anything, take a panel, split it in half, do the tape. I mean, Bob and I often say, if we never see another 50-50 hood in our life, we'll be happy. But the truth is, you want to show the difference, put a tape line down a hood and I don't care which coating of ours you put on there, Soul, Inspiration Classic, or now Legend, and see the difference in reaction. Rennie said, water will sheet off of pretty much a stripped surface. Strip that surface, put them both on there. Heck, do it on the glass with View coating. Coatings are real. They do leave a legitimate residual product if they're a legit product. They leave a legit layer of protection and a difference in the surface tension. The only way I can convince you that they're not snake oil is to actually legitimately follow the process, try them out on a side-by-side, and you will see the marked difference. You absolutely will. No other way around it than the experience opportunity there. Wish I could give you more science, but Dave's given us all the science that we need today. We've all talked about it. If you haven't done it, just split that hood, do the 50-50, and you'll know the difference. Matter of fact, do it on his car.
Yeah.
And put it on the driver's side, and he'll see the difference. And then he'll probably wonder why you wrecked his car by not putting it on both sides of the hood. But that's the way you convince somebody. Is just you got to show them the difference. Sydney was with me this weekend. Our distributor has a demo hood, and we put no correction, some correction, a one-step product, bead maker, and coating. And you can tell the difference when you put water on them. It's just there's a difference.
I agree with you 100%, Keith. And here's the other thing. You're going to watch that side of the panel as you begin to wash that car over the next months. And you're going to come back to that maybe a year later and notice that there are almost no micro scratches on that side of the panel. Wax can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my van, in order to as a demo to customers, I took some coating a couple years ago and poured it in a little tiny tray, and I let it cure. And then I can actually show people what a coating looks like when it cures. And it's just like this flexible plastic. It's just a demo, but by letting it cure out, it allowed me to show people what I'm putting on their vehicle at a microscopic level, obviously. But do those demos and they prove themselves.
Go get BB ice trays that make BB size ice, and go pour some coating in the BB ice trays and make BBs, and then hand it to them because they can't crush them. You know, I mean, they can't crush them. We've got them here. It's unbelievable.
You know, there's a question about the Mohs scale. What I really like about Legend, what we did when we sat down and talked about Legend, and this goes to a few other questions about, you know, some people are saying snake oil, but we didn't want to go that route and making, we'll say, some misleading claims. We really wanted to be true to what the coating experience was. So you won't see that stuff on our box. It's enjoyable. And I'm sure Dave can answer the Mohs scale question, but honestly, my customers don't even care about the Mohs scale. I'll sell them Legend, and then I'm going to get them on an annual detail and top that with Soul once a year. And that's how my program is going to work. Dave, what is the Mohs scale or Bob for Legend? Because it's going to come up. This question has come up like 4 times.
Right. So the Mohs scale is a scale of 1 to 9, 9 being the hardest. And then occasionally you'll see people go, well, if yours is 9, mine's 10. But unfortunately, the scale doesn't actually
Bring it up
go
to 11.
that high. So and I believe the hardest substances are things like diamond and corundum and all sorts of things like that. But I believe the Mohs scale from the start was a little overstated. First of all, you're putting a very hard coating on top of a pretty soft coating in some cases. You find that the result of your hardness is, if you're putting it on a harder surface, like we talked about, things like fiberglass or also original ceramic coatings, you'll find that the coating responds like a harder coating than it does when you put it over a softer paint. It doesn't respond with the same sort of hardness. So you're not able to really put a layer of armor over the top of a soft surface. It's just a very thin coating. So our hardness is showing up really well. What the coatings really excel at is not being removable by any chemical means at all. They can be, as Rennie said, they can be compounded off, and sometimes they will need to be sanded off. And as they age, they actually get harder. So, for the first few weeks, you'll go back and you'll try and, you'll wipe the coating and you'll say, well, it's not looking like it's 9H. But, after a couple of months, you'll find that the hardness of that coating has gotten even harder. For instance, like in some of the test panels I went back 6 months later, sanding one of our test panels, and ran into a little corner where I had done an earlier test on a coating and found that the sanding marks didn't even show up on that top corner. I put a really thick coating on it just to see what happened when you put a really thick coating on, and the sanding marks would just disappear when I hit that coating. So they can be very hard in every application, depending on what you're putting them on. That's going to vary a little bit, but what you really get is good gloss, good chemical impermeability, good chemical resistance, and hardness.
So a couple of questions that came up. I'm just kind of trying to keep up with everything, keep us moving here. So there was a question between graphene and non-graphene. I think we've answered that. And this will be recorded, so we'll repost
Bob's
it.
trying to get hold of you. Bob's trying to get your attention.
No, Bob went away.
Uh-oh.
I think they've got production meeting this morning. Hey guys, so just so you know, Bob and Dave are running the program there. So they both have a production meeting this morning that starts every day at 8:30. So we're all sitting here having our coffee, but they are actually running a warehouse that's packaging and building materials. So if Bob or Dave disappeared, that's where they ran off to. So no worries there. We've answered the graphene versus the regular SiO2 style ceramics, but that'll be posted later for you guys. I think that Gene wanted to ask if we could do a chart that has features and benefits. I certainly think that's probably a marketing tool we do need to develop. So I will add it to my to-do list, which is extensive, but quite thoroughly overwhelming right now. And we'll see where we get with that.
Keith, I can put that together. I was going to do that with the article anyway, so I'll do that.
So Director of Training's got it. He'll get one posted. We'll put it out on PNS University, and we'll probably post it once we clean it up and make it look pretty. All right, so
just to go back to this, us older guys, we remember the days of Teflon, which was the biggest gimmick ever, and that was actually really a false claim, absolute false claim. We don't do that crap anymore, and especially not PNS. I've been with this company for 10 years now, and PNS does not make false claims about any of their products. Absolutely not.
Well, Dave's our truth serum. We've got an amazing, chemist.
Dave can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah, and Dave really, it's great to have a breath of fresh air like Dave, because he keeps us so that we are wholesome. And that we don't make false claims, and that we don't, we're not in it. And I'm not saying that these companies have got this product, that it's a bad product. We just decided not to go there. We think that there's a better way to achieve this. Now, with that being said, I think that a lot of detailers are also missing the point, is that selling a coating one time is great. But if that customer doesn't have a good experience with that coating, AKA they don't know how to maintain the coating, you're not showing them how to maintain the coating, or you yourself are not maintaining the coating, that's really that second and third and 10th and 12th purchase isn't going to happen. And so, Jim Gogan's here, which is, I call him the silent giant of the industry, is that he's come up with so many of the conceptions back in the day, the ideas that are now in motion by thousands of detailers worldwide. This guy was a part of that effort. And he goes, I take and show everybody that comes in for a coating, within the first 90 days, we must do a maintenance on the coating, and we do it for free. And we're open to showing them how to do it so they can maintain it on their own. And so I think that's really important. I think I would do it because Dave said something really important, is I would want to do it before their first wash. That coating's softer during their first couple of weeks. And so I would tell them to leave the car alone for a couple of weeks, and then bring it to you. That first wash, that first maintenance, is you're going to work with them and show them how to do it, because you're going to use the right towels, you're going to use the right soap, you're going to use the right mitts. Everything's going to be done properly, and it's going to be a really good experience. Then it also gives you the chance to sell maintenance, because when they see what it's involved, they may not want to do that every couple weeks to their car, and they may hire you as a professional to maintain it, which offers, again, a better experience. Guys, you think we're selling details. We're selling an experience. Make it a Broadway production. Make it something special they look forward to. It's like going and getting these I don't do it, but $6 coffees that, the Sydney coffee. It's a part of Sydney's. And when we're up there, we all get the Sydney coffee. And when we walk into this damn coffee store, they know exactly what we want when we say the Sydney. And it's because Sydney, for her, it's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It's part of her daily routine, and she enjoys it. If you create that ambiance that the different coffee houses have done, look at the amount we spend. You don't think people spend money on maintenance on a car? Mm-hmm. Think again.
Yeah, and I'll add
to
to that.
my truck. Come on.
I'll add to that I think one of the things in my business that I'm successful with is providing that experience. And so Legend kind of goes along with that in the fact that if you think about what is our main base of customers, a lot of it is females, right? And even males like a good experience too. And so if you think about going to a spa or getting a massage, any service that you have done to your own self, I kind of liken having the cars come in and I call it a spa day. And so when you put it that way with the cars, people respond to that because they know how they want to feel very well taken care of, and that translates over to their vehicles. And so I think that for me, that's where the Legend comes in on the experiences. I was already providing kind of like the customer service experience. And so now it's going to fit in very well for me in my model to, offer Legend and make that part of the experience.
Well, Sydney, even the way that we made the box, Bob and Dave designed the box, is what I suggest, guys, when you're done, is that you put the applicator back in there, you put the instructions back in there, you put the empty bottle back in there, you close the case up, and you present it to the customer.
Yep.
Because that's also, when they see this and they see the quality, that's part of, I recently bought a new pair of boots. And in the box that the boots came in, were damn near, as a matter of fact, I don't keep shoe boxes. They usually don't even make it home, take the shoes out, leave it at the store, carry the shoes out. I kept the damn box. I don't know what I'm going to do with the box, but it was an experience, and they weren't cheap boots, right? But here's the deal: is we made this so that you can have an experience with the customer. You leave it with them. You present it to them afterwards. You can even take it, fold in, and make, if you guys are really creative, a little custom care sheet that you slide right in there, and it's all part of the package we've already built for you.
Well, Rennie, I would say put the card in there with the QR code. Let them zap the QR code. There's a QR code card that comes in the box that goes to the install video. Let them zap that code and see what actually is involved. Again, part of that experience, part of the quality of the product. And by the way, Rennie, if you need an idea for what to do with the shoebox, get a cat. They'll give you a use for it. That's what they do.
There you go.
So real quick, somebody asked, hey, my truck's coated with inspiration. I want to put a wrap over the top of it. Normally when we apply things that adhere to a surface, we like a little checking, a little roughness, because they do grab a little better. I think it will depend on a couple of things. First, make sure that your coating is fully cured. So wouldn't put the coating on there and then wrap it within a couple of weeks. I'd give that a couple of months to cure. If it's cured, you should have really no problem with laying that wrap down and having it set. The thing I will tell you is you kind of did it backwards. I would have put the wrap on and then I would have coated the wrap. But I don't think you'll go wrong as long as your coating is fully cured and has been on the vehicle for a little while. So again, decon the vehicle, all those things that any good wrap installer should do those, you should be fine. Anthony Gill, dude, I'm going to tell you, you asked a question about, is graphene the latest craze or is it here to stay? Yes, is the answer. It is the latest craze, and I think it's here to stay. Manufacturers either choose to or choose not to jump into crazes or, the late come lately things until they're proven technologies. I'm not going to tell you that graphene isn't a proven technology. There is an entire industry built around graphene, but it is not the automotive coating industry that's built around graphene. So if you're looking into it, do your research, learn a little bit about graphene, learn how it works, learn how it applies. For the bulk of coatings out there, I think when they say they have graphene, that isn't the only thing that they have in them that causes them to be a coating that adheres to the vehicle that gives you the protection. Graphene isn't the primary carrier there, is my experience. Now, there may be pure graphene products out there, but quite frankly, I haven't put one on my desk in front of me that I could tell you that for certain. So do your research, be aware. I don't think graphene is going to go anywhere. We said 10 years ago, as an industry, coatings were a thing that might be a fad. We weren't sure because the pricing and the numbers were crazy. Obviously, they're here to stay. We said that about large throw dual action tools like the Rupes 15 years ago. Look at that thing. So just because it's a fad or it's the latest thing doesn't mean it's not here to stay. I would never tell you that one way or the other. And I think anytime we make those predictions, we make the wrong one. So that's kind of our answer for you.
Hey, Keith, real quick. Dave, can you give a quick answer of why you just didn't believe that graphene was?
Yeah.
We weren't ready to install that.
Yeah.
Why not graphene right now?
Well, it's completely different. As Prentice and I went over the other day, it's a completely different methodology for creating hardness in a coating, and you have to build. You have to build attachments to this graphene. The graphene has to be dispersed correctly. It has to be the right size, shape, and all that sort of stuff. There are rumors that not everybody takes the time to do that sort of thing. I have not found a graphene coating that I thought actually, gave extra benefits over the typical coating process. In the coating process that we use, the silicon dioxide materials are actually built in the curing process of the coating that give it the hardness and its durability, versus using a separate material that you use as a backbone or a linkage that you could connect to. We just thought that the technology for what we had was really good. And I did not find that the graphene materials were showing an improvement that I thought was worth where we wanted to go.
Well, Dave, you explained to me, and I thought it was a brilliant explanation, that when you look at the science of graphene and how it works, in some ways, the chemistry of it doesn't necessarily make sense, and that's from a chemist's perspective, and also the physics of it doesn't necessarily make sense. So my response to anybody who's wondering about graphene is, why go with something that's still speculative when you've got Legend and Soul and Inspiration, which we know work for sure? Just go with what absolutely works for sure.
Don't forget you in there.
Yeah, I've typically said that, the proof's in the pudding on all these sorts of things. People come to me with their, it can be their hair care products, their cosmetics, whatever, use them, try them. If you see the result, then
I guess mine aren't working. Mine aren't working very well.
Well, there's, age-defying, blah, 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 liposomes. I love the cosmetic industry. They're my favorite. But in a lot of cases, the auto industry, the auto aftercare industry can show a lot of similarities. So if you pull out a product, it doesn't really matter to me what it says on the label. If you do it side by side and it does the performance that you want, then that's the criteria that you need to use, and that's the criteria we use, and that's why we try not to do outlandish claims. We don't go with the latest fads. We don't. I've been in this a long time now. Yeah, I think all of us have. And so we've gone through polymers and Teflon and now graphene and all the things, and some of them shake out and actually do a good job, and then some of them just fall by the wayside.
Yeah. Well, so I think the other thing we talked about last night was ease of application. Is a lot of us, because we really wanted to give the shop owner something that was that someone that's in a hot or humid area an answer, a viable answer. We wanted to give the mobile detailers a viable option to put an advanced coating on. And we felt that some of these other trends that are happening right now is to get up to the level that we can deliver with Legend, is that we created a difficult product to work with versus having a much easier product to work with, and the entire experience was better.
So here's one for Sydney specifically, because you put your money where your mouth was. We coated over your wrap with Legend. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about a couple things there, Sydney. So first, is it a good fit over a wrap? Second, on a matte wrap, does it make a sheen difference? And what's your experience with the installation? Is it any different? Is it the same?
Okay, so absolutely, it's phenomenal over wraps. It goes on very nicely. I did not ever get the sense, and I've done it on a couple wraps, I've never gotten the sense where it absorbs too much of the product, which is actually really nice. A lot of products can tend to over absorb, resulting in extreme use of the product. So that was really nice. On the matte black, and this is probably a number one question. Everyone's always worried about their matte black. So we put it, oh gosh, on my matte black hood. And what I noticed is it brightened, if that makes sense, brightened the black. It did not make it shiny. It might have been a slight satiny finish for about the first couple days. And then once it cured, it mellowed out. But it was much brighter. On matte black, you can tend to get streaks and spots from just life. And so this made it completely one color flat, made it look awesome. On printed wraps, again, it's going to define those different colors, make them brighter, the contrast more in like a high definition. And then the major difference with Legend over wraps is you're going to have that enhanced durability, enhanced UV protection. It's just going to be that much stronger to protect the investment of the wrap. So I thought it went on great. I thought it came off great. Only side note is going to be work in smaller sections. It does flash off faster. It still sweats, but it flashes faster. So just work in smaller sections was really the only note I have for that.
So you hit us on a topic, and I want Renee and Kyle and Sydney to kick in on this because you guys have installed a lot of it. So let's talk about the experience is different, right? We talk about flashing. Typically, that's the rainbow striping. You start to see the lines start to spread out. But Legend doesn't do that. So what's that experience like for you guys? What are we going to see when we see Legend lay down on a surface and it start to cure up and be ready for us to do our first pass and our second pass? And then also talk about that. Is it a 1 towel, 2 towel, 3 towel, 8 towel wipeout? What do we got there?
Go ahead,
and
Sydney.
get us back to that cat, Sydney.
So versus the rainbow effect that you get with Soul or Inspiration, Legend sweats. So what you're going to notice is it goes on the paint slightly thicker, and then it will start to bond and cross-link with the paint, and then it starts to sweat once it's ready for the wipe off. So you'll notice defined lines and like sweating marks, if that makes sense, if you think about moisture raising from the surface. And generally, once you kind of get a good amount into that sweating period, you're ready to wipe off. The nice part about that is it's a fairly large window of when you are able to remove the product. And Dave might be able to give a little bit more background on why the product sweats, but I think of it like it's bonding with the paint and then it's sweating off the part of the coating it doesn't need. And that's the part that we're removing. And the beauty of it is it's a very easy removal. And what I think is interesting is the first time you see it sweat, your mind kind of goes to, oh no, like you expect it to wipe off like honey, and it doesn't. It comes off absolutely beautiful. So I love that about that. It makes it a little bit easier. It's a better feedback for the installer on when you're ready to remove the coating.
So removal, how many towels we using, Kyle?
So I'm using the 3 towel method still. And the reason why is because I have staff. So I want to ensure quality. You know, that's the best way to put it. As someone who's done a lot of coatings, could I probably change that up a little bit? Yeah, I could. But even if that 3rd towel is just my insurance policy, I'm using 3 towels. And I'm using a very low pile towel, which I think levels the coating better. And I do like that micro beading, sweating is what we're calling it. I've used other coatings in the past that have done that, so I was already used to it. But it's definitely, I wouldn't say a shock. It's like surprising to see it, and then it's really enjoyable, and then you know it's working. It's like, okay, it's sweating. I have a little bit of time, but it's time to level it.
Yeah. So we're right up on the hour, and I want to give a 5-minute warning. So last questions, guys, get them on the tracker.
Sounds like Rennie needs.
Let me add one more thing to that. In hot, humid weather, it's going to do both. It's going to sweat, and then it's going to flash. And so right when it goes from that sweating and it starts to flash, take it off. It gives you a nice warning. It's almost like, hey, dude, you ready? finish that sip of coffee, and I'm ready to pull off. So it's like the coding whisperer. The coding's going to whisper to you. Dave put advanced artificial intelligence into the coding, so it just lets you know that it's ready to go. So
that's not a claim we're making. We're not making.
Not a gimmick.
Well, we definitely need some intelligence. That's for sure.
I'm with Kyle. I'm kind of perfectionist with my coatings, and I'm actually faster with a 3-towel than I am with a 2-towel because I don't have to check myself as much. Is I know it's off, it's blended, and it's it just, boy, I'll tell you, the reaction, you guys are gonna love it. Matter of fact, before we get done, hashtag us Double Black Legend in the hashtags. We want to see your experiences, your first experiences. Make sure to hashtag us so we can share some of your stories. We can see them and we can put them and share them onto multiple sites on social media because we want to see what you guys are doing and what your reaction is.
And so let's ask the important question. So you're using a 3-towel method, and Rennie, you've often used and still do, I think, use one of those towels as a damp towel. Which towel is that? First, second, and then what kind of water and all that stuff are you using on that towel?
And so we use purified water, and I know different people do the damp towel method, and I'm going to let Dave explain his test he did because a lot of people ask, wow, a damp towel is going to pull off more coating. Well, microfibers are made to take and absorb. When it's wet or damp, it's going to actually absorb less. So my number 1 towel is damp. Number 2 is dry, and then number 3 is my finishing. With that being said, Dave, you did a test years ago where you dyed coatings to see what a damp towel did. What was your findings with that?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm reading a bunch of stuff. I'm glad I caught that because a lot of the audio's moving out on me. Anyway, yeah, I did. What we had when we originally came out with some of the first coating tests was we found that they were hard to remove, and the coating and the damp towel method was a method we used to make it easier. And it made it so easy that I thought we were removing the entire coating. It was crazy easy. So in order to justify to myself, what I did was I turned one of the coatings red, and then used 2 test spots, wiping one with dry towel method and one with the wet towel method. And with the dye, it was an indicator of how much coating was left on the surface on a white vehicle, and the coating with the wet towel actually had more coating left, which was surprising, and yet it was still easier to do. We've kind of moved past all that requirement to have the easier to use methodology, but the wet towel is still a very viable opportunity or option. And I haven't done that test in a long time. It would be fun to do that again.
And just to clarify, hey Dave, we're not having to do it with Legend. We haven't had to do that yet, so we're only using dry towel method. But we have tested it, and it works great with damp towel.
Right, it's cool. Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
And damp towel's number 2, right, Rennie?
No, first.
I use the first one. The Parkers use the second one. I'm still in favor of the first one, but it's going to be preference.
Yeah. And when we do the test day, we got to use a UV stable dye so it stays on there forever.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised that the coating is still there on that vehicle, but it turned clear very quickly.
For those that don't know, we did the test on the mobile training unit, the mobile training buggy at PMS. So one of the first coatings we ever applied was to that little bugger. So, all right. Well, look, guys, we are up against the hour. I haven't seen any new questions come in. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Rennie, I know you're busy with training. Thanks for being on. Dave, Kyle, Sydney, Prentice. We are absolutely loving, Legend being out. We're excited about it. Next batch off the line is going to be by the end of the week. So if you are a distributor, make sure you order plenty in stock. If you are looking to buy it, you can get it through your local PNS distributor. You can get it on PNS, detailproducts.com. You can get it at Detailed Image, Auto Geek, and on Amazon, and through the Rag Company, through detailing.com. Did I miss anybody? Detail Link. You can get it through any of our available
Clean
partners.
Garage.
Detail Garage, Clean Garage. So a ton of our local distributors have this. We love the product. Out now, and go get the experience, because I think that's really what it is. Go get the experience of Legend. And any questions or concerns, you can always shoot them to us in these notes. We'll answer them. This will be rebroadcast and saved, and we will stick it up on PNS University for all our distributors to see as well. So until then, thanks for being here. Any final parting shots, guys? All right, let's go train.
Nope, thank you.
Yeah.
When you first use it,
All right, I hope Chris is on and can turn us off, because I don't know how to do that. And
I'm going to turn us off. You got it.
all right, thanks, Chris.